So this sacral center is very deep. It's everywhere. It's everything. It's all of life. It's the origin of the life force energy. It's where life force comes from, and it's where life force goes to regenerate. And so when it's undefined, you're either a projector, a manifestor, or a reflector, and none of you know when enough is enough. You're not designed to, at least from the beginning. You're designed to learn when enough is enough with wisdom. You were not born knowing when your body has had enough.
It's all we ever meet is resistance. It makes you really angry. You know, and it doesn't have to be wild, outrageous rage. It's that anger that lies there inside and it never goes away. I know its taste so deeply. Who the hell are you to stand in my way? Why are you in my way in the first place, you idiot? You don't know what I know. Go away. Get out of my face. See, I have a great image of a manifestor driving a truck. And you're driving a truck down the street and there's an old lady crossing the street. And you're a manifestor, right? Now, you can't just run her over. Because it's not nice. There are laws about things like this, right? So there's a certain conditioning that the manifestor takes in. It's sort of like, hey, we can't really just run her over. Let's inform. And the thing about a manifestor is, while you are honking the horn, you are not taking your foot off the gas. You get out of the way, lady, or you die. It's your problem, not mine. I told you I'm coming. And you see, the lady's grateful. Because if you didn't honk the horn, she'd be, highway food. See, that's why they don't like us. Because manifestors drive around and they don't honk. And you see, this doesn't fit into everybody's idea about the way human beings are supposed to be. I'll never forget my first public lecture in Taos, New Mexico. It was in some kind of city hall thing. It was a weird thing. Lots of people. Real spiritual, new age angel people, And I can remember that night so well because I threw somebody out. I'm standing on stage doing my rap, and there was somebody who kept interrupting me to asking questions. And finally, I said to this person, I said, this is a free evening. You're my guest. Get out. And it was a very interesting evening because when I told them to get out, everybody's really silent. And then from the back of the room, somebody says, yeah, get out, right? And you can hear all the others coming in. Yeah, get out. Yeah, all right, get out. Poor guy. When it's over, one of these people comes up to me who was doing my coordinating and said, oh, that was all awful. You're supposed to be nice. You're supposed to be holy. You do not throw people out, right? We're manifestors. You see, there is a part of us that accepts no morality, no law. I'm an ego manifestor. That's one of the ugliest creatures on the planet. Want to see my picture? It's here. It's page, I don't know what that is. Page 4. Ugly creature. Very dangerous. Ask all the women I've left behind. Very dangerous. An ego manifestor? Can you imagine? My whole life operates on my willpower. You know what that is when somebody gets in your way? See, now I honk. I do. I honk. I let them know. I say, don't do that. Don't get in my way. I let them know. And if they're still there, well, that's their problem. There's two sides of every type. The not-self manifester lives with their anger, and because they live with their anger, they never get to know love.
Ooh, it might seem simple, and yet it is really quite profound, the nature of being a manifester and how extraordinarily angry they can be. And how that anger that does not know when enough is enough, the undefined sacral center, that anger, the way in which it doesn't go away. It simply doesn't go away without trusting in the type strategy and inner authority. Never goes away. Now, if you know your authority as a manifester, you have the chance to access your signature vibration, the nature of peace, in which the anger actually dissolves into the deepest stillness that it's available. And yet the sacral center is so utterly permeating through everything. It's extraordinary. The sacral center is the source of all life force energy, after all. The sacral center, in conjunction with the solar plexus, is quite literally the channel of mating. This is where babies are born. And it's through this channel that we bring new life into the world. The channel, the 15.5, is the design of the single cell. Every single-celled organism has a 15.5 with a hanging third gate. So this sacral center is very deep. It's everywhere. It's everything. It's all of life. It's the origin of the life force energy. It's where life force comes from, and is where life force goes to regenerate. And so when it's undefined, you're either a projector, a manifester, or a reflector, and none of you know when enough is enough. You're not designed to, at least from the beginning. You're designed to learn when enough is enough with wisdom. You were not born knowing when your body has had enough. Let me say that again. You were designed to learn and eventually develop wisdom around when enough is enough. You were not born with a body that knows when enough is enough, like us generators. You see, my body will say, no, get out, go away, I'm frustrated. My body will say that. My aura will say that. I don't necessarily have to use my voice. You can see it on me when it happens. And yet for the manifester, they can just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. They can enjoy the illusion of pushing the river of life along. The old school idea of making it happen. Go out there into the world and manifest. Well, the manifester can do that because they have an impulse that comes from their inner authority. And if they inform those around them, then they won't be burned at the stake. People won't hate them for living their truth because you let them know beforehand, and now they're not worried. You see, it's really not that complicated to be yourself. And on the notion of being an ego manifester or a defined ego human being, Ross said it was ugly, the ego manifester, especially in the not self. How ugly an ego manifester could be, how ugly the ego can be. You see, the ego center is also called the heart center. This is the source of willpower, and this is the reason why there is no such thing as free will. Because we've mapped out the mechanics of willpower, of the heart, of the stomach, the thymus, the T cells. We've mapped the mechanics. And being an ego myself, I have a defined ego. I am part of the 30% of people who actually have an ego. You see, most people, 70% of human beings alive today, have undefined ego centers. And that means that you are here to learn about the wisdom of willpower, to learn about the wisdom of, well, what it means to keep a promise or not. Because a piece of advice for all the undefined egos out there is never make promises. You don't have the willpower for it. If somebody wants you to promise something, they're asking you to be fake for their benefit. And it's not even for their benefit. It's for their mind's perception of their own benefit, which is essentially a sophisticated form of self-abuse. And so the ego is a very powerful thing. To have a defined ego, to have consistent access to willpower, or supposedly consistent access to willpower. You see, the thing about this ego center is that the ego works so that it can rest. Undefined ego center beings, they can overwork themselves, especially you got an undefined ego and an undefined root center. Well, you can be busy forever proving your worth to other people until you're dead. There are so many people who have lived that life. Say undefined ego, undefined head center, undefined root. I will literally be busy my entire life proving my worth to you about things that don't matter. That's their life story. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people are living that life right now, proving their worth by being busy about things that don't matter. And without human design, they hardly have a chance to get out of that trap. So that's why I'm here talking about it. Using my willpower, using my ego, for the betterment of us all. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Take care. We'll see you next time. If you have enjoyed the show and would like to learn more about how all of this applies specifically to you, then kindly refer to the link in this video's description, Private Consultation. Here, we can dive into all of the details together in a recorded call. May your signature vibration of satisfaction, success, peace, and surprise find you in a good way.